Hello, everyone. This Sunday. Shout out from World Combat Sports. Hopefully, everyone is doing absolutely fantastic. Due to the outbreak and the state of emergency, man, COVID-19 is still taking over. COVID-19 is still here, people. And I'm wishing you all nothing but the best with a grand salute. I hope everybody's household is intact. You know what I'm saying? I hope the marriages is good because I know with kids and everything, with your wife, husband, it can go bad real quick from being in the house, especially if you don't have the funds to know where the next meal is going to come from. I know that. I ain't playing around with it. I've been there. I know what it's like. But I really want to, hope everybody's doing great, man, and not going through tremendous amount of trouble. But of course, I'm on here, We're going to talk about some boxing, but I wanted to hear what's going on with everybody. Besides all the boxing matches being canceled, and really promoters, teams, fighters, everybody's feeling the pinch, man. Everybody's feeling everything about this. It's bad. But how do we bring some good to it? That's what I want to know. How do we bring some good to such a bad time in the sport of boxing, MMA, combat sports in general? If I could help everybody, I could. I would. I'd drive to the location. So I just tried to get on here and wait till the ones that's coming home from church. You know what I'm saying? Get on here so we can talk about some current state of affairs. What everybody up to? Talk to me. What is everybody up to? I want to hear from you. How was church today? Someone talk to me about church. Did y'all go up there and ask, for God to just totally, you to repent and bless your heart, cleanse you, turn you into a different person? What did y'all say at church today? Now, none of y'all went to church today. I'm going to be kind of puzzled. Seriously, I'm going to be kind of puzzled for the fact that with everything in the light of what's going on, I'm seeing less and less inspirational quotes, but I'm hoping more and more people showed up for church today. But then you'll be gathering with people. So hopefully that's not the case. What's up, Dion? Dion, what's going on, Dion Washington? The zone week for Canelo. They weak like wet toilet paper there, Dion. We knew it was coming though, bro. When they robbed Sergey and Darian Chico of that title, we knew it was coming. We knew they had to turn around and try to make this fight, man. They don't want to fight Charlo. There's plenty of other opponents out there besides a 37-year-old Gennady Golovkin who hasn't looked very thorough in his last couple of fights. But he's going in here now with the guy who's just took the elevator up to divisions, picked up his badges, came back down, and now, they're going to sign with Triple G3. I told you all this a long time ago. I knew it was going to happen. I told you that sooner or later, we're going to see a trilogy. And this is it. Hey, Dion, you go to church today, man? You go to church today? Here's a question, man. I just want to know. Because if you did go to church, I just want to ask, how's the mood in there, man? How's everybody, you know, in light of what's going on? How's everybody acting in church? Are they acting like they got faith? Or are they acting like they ain't trying to touch the next person beside them? You know, how's that working? Yeah, I'd rather he I don't know if they would have gave Lomachencko a rematch though. Because this fight holds a lot more, not much, but a lot more weight to it than Triple G Lomachencko rematch. Hey, and now they moved Lomachencko over there to face potentially Charlo. So we'll see how that works. See what Jamal have to say about that. Hey, how was everybody in church, man? Cheer up. Spunk up a little bit, perk it up. Turn up just a minute. How was church, man? Was God able to answer all your prayers? I mean, just talk to him. I want to know what the environment was like in there. If it was me, I would have took my whole family down there and asked for the preacher to pray over us. That's just me. If I was in church today, yeah, I would have did that. But I'm the type of person who believes that you can get the same blessings if you're praying to his holy name where you at. You know what I'm saying? Or in the house of devotion. Either way, I believe you're going to get those blessings. If your heart is right and you're repenting and ask for forgiveness, that's just what I think. Down here in Georgia, we just had a 12-year-old test positive for COVID-19, man. Oh, she's doing well. They're saying most of the people that's dying are the older, sort of older individuals that have underlying health issues. But I know kids who have passed, when they get the flu, pneumonia, and everything like that, their immune system wasn't strong enough to handle it, especially at that age. Two trilogies. Okay, I got you. I got you. Hey, Dion, thinking of the zone, right? Outside of Canelo and Triple G, what's another solid fight over there now that they have, Jarrell Miller signed with Top Rank? Who would be a good fight you want to see Jarrell Miller step in there with on his return fight? Of course, I won't mind seeing him fight Dillian White. Of course, I wouldn't mind seeing him fight Dominic Brazil. You know, some of the top names. Um, I can't say with any of the real young cats because I think he'll blow through them. Not F.A. Jogba right now, even though he looked pretty good. I don't think he's ready for Jarrell Miller. I just don't. Um, Daniel Dubois, he ain't ready yet either. Joe Joyce lost, so maybe Joe Joyce. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Joe Joyce. I'm pretty sure he'll take that fight. I'm good. Let's get the talking about this boxing. Hey, boxing ain't going nowhere. It's just temporarily on hold. You know the reason why it's on hold? Because it's nothing it can do. Boxing was never in control of anything. You know what I'm saying? Boxing isn't in control of the COVID-19 or when they call a global crisis. It's nothing boxing can do. It would be great if we had other arenas that we can dip into, and we can just get the fighters and teams and at least go in there and get the fight. You know, televise the fight in a small area where it's not stands around and everything, but they have closed circuit television. So, you know, we can still view it. You know what I'm saying? It's quarantine, it's clean, all that. So you can have your entire fight card in these buildings. I always thought about that in times of need like this, like an area that is not a bunker, but it's safe enough for the fighters and the teams to go in there. And it's not as big of an arena, but it has all the amenities for the fighters and team trainers and everybody to go in there. So what can happen? The ring is going to be there. They can go out to the ring and then have their fight, and it can be televised on closed circuit television. You know, I'm thinking of the small condensed space will kind of take a little bit, put a little bit more confidence up there as far as not having a huge gathering. So you just have only the individuals, on the main card, you know, televised the closed circuit television or whatever, or however they call it this day and time. You know, we can stream it out on Facebook, all that. You know, since there's no audience. I just think it'd be something cool to do, you know. Just bring the team, have a smaller venue, just like you know how Marines, we go to barracks, and some places we go, you know, we just have all the military servicemen in there. It's just like a closed, compact area. And then, you know, just have the staff in there to keep it clean and sanitized and have these fights, you know, keep the schedule going. Why does the entire sport has to excuse me, why does the entire sport has to tread water right now? Because we don't have a facility to meet the standards of what they're talking about. I mean, I've been in places, real talk, where we only had really 5 people handling a boatload of individuals. But in the fight game case, I believe the reason why it's falling out because some people need these particular individuals. You know what I'm saying? They need these particular individuals to be in their corner. So what I was thinking, like, these individuals come down when the fight is started. You know, they do what they do, or it should be someone to make a call to the governor, mayor, say, hey, We need for this not to happen again, regardless of what it is. You have staph infection. We have so many other things that can get that can become contagious in the combat sports community. They need to speak to these mayors, governors, whoever's making these decisions, and say the next time we come across something like this, man, we want to see if we can make a call ahead of time and pick a venue that's quite small, and so these fighters can still get paid, go in there and fight, get paid, and we set up all the accommodations for them. I think it'll be cool, man. Instead of shutting down everything, like everything is shut down. There is not a teardrop of combat sports that you can turn to right now and talk about. But you know, for me, seriously, it takes me back right when I had the co-hanger in the TV, and I used to come up there. I really wasn't coming home. I come home for track practice or whatever I was doing. And then, you know, you just used to have those special channels. And I remember the channel I used to watch all the time, channel 69. That particular channel had some of the nicest cartoons on it. You know, you had Tom and Jerry, Road Runner, Popeyes. Man, you had Scooby-Doo. Who didn't like Scooby-Doo, man? You know, you had all these small time schedules of channels. This is what it takes us back to. It's nothing on TV that we're used to. You know what I'm saying? We're not used to 3 channels. We're used to a lot of television shows being played right now. But now we got reruns and rewinds, all that. You know, we got Netflix. We just got a whole lot of replays, which is good. I think this social distancing is good. Seriously. It's a positive time for, you know, you to bond. Seriously, it's a positive thing to bond. Because, look, listen, I know I put that post up, right? I said, don't let the lockdown ruin your marriage. The reason why I said that, being in the military, we used to be overseas, right? And a typhoon used to come in. And sometimes it was locked down over a week. Like, we're not talking about going downstairs and going to the store. Everything on base is closed. It's typhoon season. The winds out there are over 100 miles per hour. It's sick. Like, you go down there, cars are moving around in the parking lot. But within that, right, you might find some neighbors you can play cards with. After that die down, you have neighbors that may ask you for food because their food's running out. You're thinking about being overseas. It's only so much food. And I will say this, right, is that when the typhoons came on deck, the shelves did clear out a little bit like that, but it didn't clear out as much. Like, they kept it pretty stacked up for the veterans that need to go to the 7-day store or the commissary to get their food. But anyway, I've seen families, man, when the typhoon was over, it's some crazy things that came to light. Like, you find out, you know, one of your spouses been cheating. You know, one of the spouses may leave and say, you know, I'm just going for a walk. And then that particular spouse will be somewhere else in the freaking towers, you know, kicking with somebody you aren't supposed to have no business kicking it with because, you know, their husband may be out of town. Man, just don't want to be around each other. You know, in Okinawa, man, when these Marines, I'm speaking just from Marine standpoint, I'm not going to talk about any Navy, anything, but these Marines that who's married to the Filipinos, when you marry Filipino, they always tell you marrying the whole family. So my boy that I work with, he had a Filipino wife and she had a kid from before. They had their 3 kids. I think the auntie was staying there. A sister was staying there. And this was only a 3-bedroom spot. So they don't care. They'll put mattresses on the living room floor, all of that. That's what goes on in there. But food runs out. When you think about that, you got to find somewhere to cook. So check this out, though. This is real talk. Check this out. Well, this is the beautiful, beautiful thing that I like about Filipinos. Like when we used to be locked down in the typhoons over there in Japan, right? If the Filipino, it can be an American married to a Filipino family. If a Filipino family came I'm talking about remotely close to losing the last ounce of their rice, the last grain of anything, all they have to do is call up another Filipino family. That's all they had to do. Filipinos watched out for one another, no questions asked. If you need that food cooked, especially if you got kids on deck, if you need that food cooked, them Filipinos will cook that food and bring it over hot. What are you going to eat? Because some Filipinos are well off than others. That means they may have married an officer. They may have married high-ranking enlisted. This is just serious talk. This is real life, no fabricating. And if anything runs out during that typhoon emergency, we're talking about a Filipino go make a phone call. Don't worry about it. We'll be over there. The Filipinos come in there with trays. They will cook. If they have kids, they made sure enough servings for the kids, everything, man. Shout out to the Filipinos. I seen it. And not only that, I used to live right next to my boy that I work with, right? And they even brought food over to us. Like, that's why I got mad respect for how the Filipinos go about life. They came from such poverty. We have some Americans that came from poverty, but no way, no how, the way we look after one another comes close. Come on, they're scratching the back of the way these Filipinos look out for one another. It's amazing, man. Dion say, straight right, the South Park killer Teofimo by dramatic KO. Yeah, I'm going for Teofimo too, man. Chris Ray, what's good? Chris Ray said, hit the like button. Hey, man, hope all is going good with you, Chris Ray. Real talk. But I always used to commend the Filipinos for looking after one another. They do it regardless. No one's going hungry with them. And then when it came to the jobs, they did the same thing. They helped each other out, helped one another out with jobs too. They may have had a kid that just graduated from high school, and no worries. What do you plan on doing? What field? That kid may have been in the Navy before. It don't matter. Coming out of high school, coming out the Navy, they're going to help them find a job, because most of the Filipinos are embedded on base at the hospitals, the PXs. It's somewhere to get a job. So they coming out of high school, no problem. You either going to college or you working. Then you coming out of the Navy. Most of the Filipinos go in the Navy. You coming out of the Navy, they got a job lined up for you. And these are good, solid jobs, like GS jobs, y'all. These are government-oriented jobs, solid with benefits. And most of who you see are Filipinos. So I have to salute them for that. Real talk. I had so many good Filipino dishes, man. Whew. I should have had you looking like Mr. Clump and a half. But in these times, like with boxers being out, it's a little bit more a disconnect here, because you don't know where the boxers are at. It's not like the military when you have barracks that you can go to. Like if I'm close to a barracks, you have barracks that you can go to and help out the service members. But check this out. Service members, they have a place to eat. They have a chow hall that's going to be operational. You're going to get fed one way or the other. If you're an active duty service member, you're going to get fed during these times. That's absolutely. the facts. But in boxing, you're not a part. You know what I'm saying? You're not binded contractually by an entity that's obligated to feed you 3 squares a day. You know what I'm saying? They're not obligated to pay your health insurance and dental work. You know? So they come down to the boxing game right now in this depression that we have, people. It's bad all the way through to the core. I mean, you probably have individuals. I know some individuals that haven't picked up their phone yet. Some regional fighters, and I can't imagine what they're going through because I already knew they was broke. Like I already knew they was trying to make it. Chris Ray says it's going cool. Thanks and think about the Filipino story. Well, too here. Yeah, man. You know, this fight game should have some type of stipend in times like this. You know, just have some type of stipend. And in order for a fighter to have like a stipend, it has to be something they contribute to while they're fighting. Just like insurance. You pay for your life insurance. You pay for your health insurance. So therefore, if a fighter is signed with anyone, or once again, how sporadic boxing is. The boxers who are at the top promotions, cool, I can see them putting into a pool and having some money to supplement them in a time of crisis like this. But the fighters that's on the regional level, they come from anywhere. Around that corner, over that hill, out of that closet, out that car, coming down the street, getting off the bus, the train, just touched down from the airplane. They coming from everywhere. So you really can't, kind of set them up a stipend because they're not obligated from anybody. On the regional level, these fighters come in and they have a little bit of paperwork to sign, and then they go in there and fight. So if they're not able to get fights in 3 or 4 months, or 5 months, usually they may have a second job to earn some income. But in this particular case, it omits the bilateral employment alternative. To your left and right, man, you're done. You don't have an option because most of the restaurants and everything is shut down. I know a lot of people out here, a lot of businesses out here, they're basically hiring people temporarily. And you know what? I'll tell you what, if it was me, I'll definitely be there. If I had a kid to support, my kid is much older now. We went through the struggle. If it was me and I had to go out there and I was a fighter, I don't care what I'd be doing. I'd be cutting grass with a push more because that's what I was raised off of. I go get a goddamn lawnmower and I start cutting some grass, man. I don't care how I got to get it, as long as it's legal. I'll be knocking on doors. Hey, you need your hedges cut, yard cut. I know a lot of people around here that say, well, I already have a yard person. It has to be something. There has to be some type of remedy for you to go out here and make it. You know what I'm saying? It has to be some type of remedy. I know when I had my first son, man, I was so freaking broke and hungry that the chow hall on base allowed me to take a takeout, which you weren't supposed to do. And when I saw them out in town, we linked back up. I hooked them up. But they really helped me get through learning how to take care of my first kid, because a lot of times I did it by myself. And it was tough, man. But the beautiful aspect about it was that when I saw his belly hungry, when I saw his belly, he wasn't hungry. Like he was satisfied. He had what he needed. You know what I'm saying? And I was in the Marine Corps and I was on public assistance. That's how broke I was. I wouldn't trade having my kid that early for nothing. I wouldn't trade it. But I was a man about mine regardless. And I wanted to take care. I don't care how hard how heavy the carriage was, how my arm hurt, what I had to do after work, how busy it was. If I had to study for a test, I didn't care. Like when I used to go home, it was just a bed in the apartment and a refrigerator. When I fixed his food and I knew he was happy and went to sleep, that made me the happiest man in that area. I was so freaking happy. It was rough. I ain't gonna lie, that shit was rough. That shit was rough learning how to take care of a kid, and no one never taught you how to take care of a kid. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was a learning experience, bro. So I can only imagine what these fighters going through with kids. They got to be fed. No telling how old these kids are. Man, y'all be careful out there, man. The crime rate is going to go up. Watch what I say. Be careful out there. The crime rate is going to be up. People going to get hurt. Some fighters that was fighting in last months, by the time this thing lift, they're going to be in jail. I'm talking more so the regional level and not the top tier. That shit I think about. I just think about, all the tragedies that we went through in the Marine Corps and how the service itself really didn't do much for keeping marriages together. And this is when we were deployed and everything else, man. You come home, your house is destroyed. Like some people came home and your house is just gone. Your wife done left the house and went down and took all the furniture. You don't know where it's at. It's so much that went on in the military in crisis like this. You can't even imagine. You can't even imagine. That's why I just put that out there, man. People popping babies out and they're not ready for a plus one. They're not ready for a plus one, but they don't have anything else to do. And somehow, when they locked up in quarantine, right? When it's lifted a couple of weeks later, 3 weeks later, what? You found out you got a baby on the way. You like, oh my gosh. We struggling already, man. How can we have a baby already, yo? Like that shit is tough. You get a certain age, man. If you have a lot of family around you, you're blessed because they can take up the slack and take care of the kids. If you have a grandmother still living, that's cool. That's cool. I didn't get a chance to know my grandparents that long. I mean, we grew up so quick. I was growing up so fast. It was a blur. But the military, it would be great if they kind of taught a little bit more instructions or education on us keeping the family together. Because for one, look, when we're in the service, our kids are some of the baddest kids when we're in the service because the parents are gone. We on deployment. That is a crisis for families. Believe it or not, it is a crisis. Look, this is what the crisis is. I know it's a little off top of boxing, but I'm trying to educate some of you that might have some military people that's going in the military, right? It's very important for them to know that, especially from a vet. One thing they should understand about this, I just told a relative of mine about this particular individual that was going in. I'm not going to mention her name. I'm not, because I don't feel like knocking the other whatever out. Anyway, one of his daughters went to the military. I told this individual, I say, she'll be married within the first year. And she won't even love the dude. Because when women go into certain situations away from their family, they ain't used to that. They end up locking up with a guy really quick and get married. Because what marriage does for them is provide them stability. It provides them a whole, like, I always wanted to be married. This guy, but look, the military don't get married like civilians do. Civilians, they plan it. They go through the engagement process. Everything is so special and warm. And you want to call up all your family and everything, right? In the military, it's almost like, it's almost something that you come across and you think about it for only a limited time. You know what I'm saying? You think about it just limited time. It's almost like fast food restaurant. You go there and say, do I want this or not? What am I going to order? You hurry up and get your order from fast food, and then you peel off, and you go eat it, right? That's somewhat like marriage proposals in the military. You meet somebody, and then you get in a situation where you might be deploying. You might be going away for quite some time. You might be struggling, or your girl might get pregnant. So therefore, you have to make some decisions in life. Not the kind of decisions, once again, that civilian pop make, that is carefully sought out. It's going to be the perfect, almost the perfect plan of marriage. You're going to meet the parents. Everybody's going to get to come together before the marriage takes place. No. Not military, y'all. Military is, hey, you're pretty cool. What you up to? And you start kicking a little casual conversation and everything. So you start dating. And then you get news from your unit that you're going on deployment. That deployment can be 5, 6, 7 months to a year. Seriously. And you and that individual may not be in the same unit. I'm telling you what goes on. And I know this off top of boxing, but you have a lot of young people that's going to end up going in the military. So you got, the unit comes down saying you're going on deployment, and you and your soon-to-be husband are not in the same unit. You and your soon-to-be wife not in the same unit. So choices have to be made. You have feelings for one another. You're young, you're immature, you don't know too much about going on with life. But what you do know is that you can get married without no one's permission, not even your parents. Then when you get married, things change. You are allowed to move into base housing. You are allowed a certain amount of extra income, especially if you have a kid on the way. And a lot of these individuals that come on board in the military are so young, they don't even know what credit is. They don't know what applying for apartment is. They don't know any of that shit. Like, we're so dumb when we come in the military. We're super dumb. So you get with this person, you decide, you know what, fuck it, let's get married. And then she may ask you a question like, are you sure? You sure? Because I don't want your parents, my parents, what are we going to tell them? Oh, we'll tell them later. We come up with the dumbest shit, dog. Seriously. We are some individuals that are misguided early on when it comes to marriage, man. So you ask each other like a 3-part question, you know what I'm saying, that all leads to one thing anyway. It's already figured out. It's like, when you going to tell the parents? You think this is a good time, to get married? And you think it'll last? You think it'll last? And then, you got to think about the unit too. Some people come into the unit and you just meet them, and knowing they PFCs, E1s, E2s, they're not supposed to be getting married. But shit, give a month and a half or two. They come back in there, she's waving the ring, and then they're like, hold up. The sergeant called over here. I said, hey, PFC so-and-so, come here for a second. Like, what's that on your hand? You got married? So, oh, yes. And then, if sergeant been around the game for a while, who did you get married to? He's over here in this unit. What's his rank? So they want to make sure it's not fraternization. That's another part where the Marine Corps went bad on. Like, just say she's a PFC and he's a sergeant, especially not a staff sergeant. Now, if a staff sergeant married PFC, it's bad all the way. Y'all may love each other, but it's some repercussions going to come from that, right? So they're going to start asking your business. What you saying to yourself, what the fuck you doing? This is my family. It's my family. I don't have to prove shit to you. I don't have to tell you anything. In the military, you do, though. You do. You have to tell them. You have to let them know. What's his rank? They say corporal sergeant. Oh, yeah? Okay. So what y'all got planned? Where y'all gonna move at? You know, you got so and so amount of time to move out. You need to go over here and do this paperwork and get the paperwork so you can start getting paid. So as a marriage couple, you get paid a little bit more money than you would if you've been a single Marine, right? It really helps. It's still pennies, but it really helps. So you start finding out you have responsibility now. Responsibility. It gets tough. You have to put your name on base housing, right? You have to put your name on base housing. So base housing, dependent on how many people, how many personnel are already on that base, because sometimes it get real full before the PCS, right? You have to wait. So they give you a certain allotted time that you can stay in the barracks, or else you have to move out. If no base housing is open up for you to move into base housing on what you need, because they have, I think no base housing is less than 2 rooms, 2 bedrooms, if I'm not mistaken. I've been off base for a while, but check this out. If you're unable to get base housing on time, you got to move out in town. And usually out in town, it costs way more than on base. So they try their damnedest to get you a spot on base. So just say, for instance, I'm going to use the better part of the scenario. Go on base. Okay? You get the call up. Hey, Sergeant Macaroni, you and your wife are 5 slots down for base housing, and you should be able to hear a phone call next week. Could you come down here so we can talk to you about everything that needs to, all the paperwork that needs to be signed, and so you can get your keys. Listen, base housing in certain areas are great, but they still consider the ghetto to a lot of people that grew up in the civilian pop and lived in these expensive hotels, right? So you go down there to base housing, you get your paperwork, you have to sign, you have to tell you what all the stuff you can't do and all this other shit. So once you get your keys, you do feel enlightened. You know what I'm saying? You do feel invigorated. You're like, damn, this shit is nice, man. We're going to our own place. Let's go check it out. You go in that base house, like, oh shit, you know, you're looking around, shit all clean, because you don't leave base housing unless it's clean. Period. So you walk in there, that shit is clean. You look around, I was like, damn, nothing broken. It has a standard to it. So then this is where everything starts to, you know, smoke up a little bit. The little small fires. The little small fires start to smoke up. So we gotta get some furniture. So you're already broke, right? So now you got to say, damn, how do I get some advance to get this and get that? Really on base, you don't have advances to kickstart your home. You're a new couple moving into a house. It ain't no, do we get $1,000 stipend? I just heard him talk about it on TV. Are we going to get that to start getting us some food, get us a sofa and love seat, get us 2 beds with some frame dresser set? You have to take all that in consideration. You don't know shit about how much it takes to go in there and start up. So you got to get your food. You got to fill up the fridge. You got to get a place to sleep. So when you have couples that are just absolute single, no babies, what they try to do is they would go get some futons or whatever, and they would literally sleep on the floor. This is just like college shit. They'll sleep on the floor. They have a little food, snacks in the refrigerator. No bedroom or furniture in the rooms. You know, no bed, no bedroom set, none of that shit. And their clothes, just some shorts and shoes, because most of the time you wear your uniform, right? And they'll just be wearing their freaking Marine Corps sweats around base. That's how you know you're running into the broke ones. When they be at the gas station, you know what I'm saying? They be in their sweatpants all the time. So you absolutely freaking broke. You got to find out how to damn boost things up a little bit. So you've been in base housing for a good 3 weeks now. You're getting acclimated. You know what I'm saying? The house isn't the cleanest. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because when junior Marines move into the house, the NCOs definitely supposed to go over there to a solid unit and check the house. They need to see how these people are living. So this where Marines fuck up at. If you have two young Marines who just got married, like I said, sometimes they allow a third person, since they don't have no kids, to come over and stay in their house. And just because they're broke, that third Marine will help pay some of the stuff that comes out their check. I don't call it rent. You know what I'm saying? Because it depends on what rank you are. So you go on the base housing and they have like a junior Marine stay over there. And then in some cases, they start throwing parties. We're talking about the young heads. We're talking about the PFCs, the Lance Corporals, E1, E2s. They start throwing parties over in base housing, which that's a no-no. Because the higher ranking get a whiff of it, they report you. Then that's when you start losing your rank and getting in trouble. But what they would do, they would have junior Marines come over there and sleep, because the junior Marines have an opportunity to get out of the barracks, sleep over somebody else's house, like they actually in college, and like they're in a dormitory. So that's where the misguidance go straight to the trash can. When you have two Marines that never should have got married, but they did anyway. Then once they in there with no kids, they invite one or two other Marines over there, and they may tell them, hey, you need to pay $150, $200 if you want to stay here. So of course they will come over there, sleep on the floor, as long as they got a place to stay, and it becomes a place of party. You know what I'm saying? It becomes a place for them to party. And it's nothing, listen to me, it's nothing but trouble. Trouble, trouble, trouble. Look, it's been situations that I had to counsel Marines where, using that same scenario, where one of the guys in there end up having sex with the guy's new wife that got married too young, only because they was too young to kind of understand what the situation was they was in. They think it was just party time. But one thing I left out was these Marines have to go to work. These Marines have to go to work. So when you're waking up to go to work and you working on different shifts, or you working in different units, it's hard to kind of manage a situation like that. So when you got other knuckleheads that's living in your base housing with you, and your girl is there, which is supposed to be a sanctuary, it's supposed to be an oasis for two married people who's trying to find out how to make it work, is not the case. It is not the case. If they will only do something for people who would get married, just say at a young age like that, just kind of have it more prepared for them, instead of signing for keys, going over there, moving the base housing, and then looking at that and smiling for a little bit and say, damn, we got to get furnished for this shit. Like, we got a lot of shit to do. Would you believe me if I told you? Now, Dollar, what's good, man? Would you believe me if I told y'all that if you just came in and you barely have any credit, you might have a car and you might not, but you end up getting married. You get that situation where you're moving in, you might be up to over $6,000 or $7,000 once you finish furnishing base housing. You know why you're able to get that, people? Because in the military, when you just coming in, you're like E1, E2, everybody will give you credit. And they have all these furniture stores on bases and off base. And man, it's almost like they just eat us up. They eat us up. You go in there and say, hey, how you doing? I haven't seen you around here before. Are you on the local base? And what's our story? Yeah, I haven't been in the court that long. I'm at E3. Oh, great, great. We got some good specials for you. Oh man, we got some financing for 60 months. I know you're just moving to base housing, right? Yeah. And some of them got kids, right? They bring their kids with them. By the time you finish furnishing your house with furniture, because hey, some of these places look damn good. And you know where all their money come from? Us. You know why they got good shit around there? For us. You know what I'm saying? So we go in there, you get the bedroom sets you ain't never had before. You get the frames to go with it, because I mean, you some of these wives, they want them special frames and shit, you know, these nice looking headboards and footboards. And some just want the basics. So you get the bedroom set for the master, and then you got your kids, whether you're gonna get them in a bunk bed or not, and get them a dresser set. Then you gotta go to the next room. That's just the bedrooms, people. Then you gotta go over here and say, okay, let me talk about the living room. Then you got to find out how to build up your living room, what you're going to have in there. Then go to the PX, get some TVs, or according to where you're stationed, you can go out to Best Buy, you know, get the shit. But Okinawa and freaking Japan or whatever you station over there, you have to deal with the prices that are over there. And Marines can go in debt for quite some time furnishing their house for the first time. So you furnish your living room. You go to the exchange, you buy some things from the bathroom and all that. You can spend a cool 10 stacks. You can spend a cool 10 stacks just moving into freaking base housing with nothing, especially if you got a kid already and you have a kid on the way. Easy 10 stacks. Now, the way I was growing up in the military, this is what happens. The interest rates suck. If you went up there and got credit and you picked up some furniture to furnish base housing and you didn't know any better as far as what the interest rate should be, man, some of these people had you at an interest rate like 8.5, 9 point, 10 point. They were absolutely draining and taking advantage of the military, especially down in Camp Lejeune. Especially at Camp Lejeune. And that's what's over here in the US. But anyway, I do believe wholeheartedly it's still going on to this day. You know what I'm saying? Because unless you can't have a furniture store on base and expect it to have the best furniture ever. It's going to have what everybody else have down the way. Like you can go in 15 different houses on a furniture place that's on base, and you're going to find somebody with your furniture. They're going to find it with your headboard, footboard. You're going to find it with pictures on the wall the same way. Man, it's the funniest shit ever. Like, you can't go over one person's house and say, man, their house is stacked. That shit's nice, man. The only thing that's going to make the house nice this day and time is TVs, stereo systems, and, you know, how your computer's set up. That's it. Everything else, the furniture might be the same. You know what I'm saying? Unless you really drove out to get it from somewhere else. There's a lot more selections going on. But overseas, it's quite different. You have to select from the area. And from the area, you only get what they have. But the one important detail about marriages and divorces in the military is our kids end up being some of the worst kids you never know about. That's real talk. Our kids end up being the worst kids that you don't hear about, because we have to go on deployment, and sometimes that female that's left in there to do what she's supposed to do is not doing it. It's not doing it. Like you get kids that's rolling with other kids that don't really have a safe haven for them to go and talk. They don't have a YMCA, so to speak. Some of these kids are not in sports. So they link up with one another, and then they start breaking in cars. Then they start believing that they can go into the exchange and steal. The exchange have cameras everywhere. You're not going to exchange and do a smash and grab and run, and you're gonna get off base. It ain't popping. I know a lot of kids to this day and time found that out the hard way when they was kicked off base or banned from going into the exchange. I knew a lot of my comrades who kids got in trouble from that, but it does happen. We have some of the baddest kids. We on active duty. I'm not saying all, of course, but we have some bad kids, y'all. We have some of the most failed marriages, not because the shit didn't really work out, just genuinely. It's when you go on deployment 7 to 8 times. You know what I'm saying? You're going into combat 4 or 5 times, and that shit's fucking with you. You coming back a different person. I've seen it. I've seen people I served with early in my Marine Corps, and then some combat tours later, it's nowhere even close. And that's fucked up, because I know they probably out there right now fucked up. Combat will fuck you up. But you know, with it, we sign up for it. We don't care about, we don't care about all that. We sign up, we go do what we got to do. That's what it is, man. When I was on convoy, I didn't think about anything except the mission. I didn't think about, I did think about my family, but when you out on convoy, you have so much other shit on your mind. You like looking left to right. You know what I'm saying? You really have to be on your P's and Q's. I remember I was on a bird, right, at 2 o'clock in the morning, and everybody was asleep. But I'm sitting up there with my rifle. I'm saying, something just don't feel right. I kept feeling the bird lower and lower. I say, we're nowhere even close to where we're supposed to go. I'm just wondering why they kept on dropping elevation, right? So I'm up there, and I'm like, I'm trying to listen to see if I hear the pilots talking about anything. And then sure enough, the bird drops, right? Drops down, and the hatch pop open, and I turn my weapon. I'm looking, and then 4 or 5 special ops guys hopped on the back of the bird, and we took off in a hurry. And then one of them asked me, say, damn, you're the only one awake. I guess the rest of them don't care about their life. I was the only one awake on the damn bird. The rest of the people asleep. They actually dropped down in enemy territory and picked up these guys and didn't tell nobody on board nothing. Didn't tell us anything. I just think that was so fucked up. Like, you could at least gave us a fair warning so we can be ready, but that's how they do it sometimes. They say why get operational spec ops, people, non-tactical people up in arms, you know what I'm saying, and over impulsive about the bird dropping down and touching down, door pop open, and these guys jump on board. Why get them all up high energy? You know what I'm saying? Erratic. Yeah, that was crazy. But anyway, man, you have any kids that's going in there, just make sure they have good guidance. Make sure they have good guidance, man, because our kids go through hell. I ain't gonna lie. If you stay in the service long enough and you have a good wife, cool. But don't think you're not gonna run into people who's been in the military 10 years and haven't been married twice already. 10 years. Married twice already. You know what I'm saying? That shit's tough, man. Because you keep traveling, and just say you basically, just put it this way. Just say you're not married and you go over to another country, because we good for going over to foreign countries and meeting women, right? Because I've been there. So you go over to foreign countries and you meet a girl, right? And she don't have no green card, she don't have nothing, blah, blah, blah. So y'all keep in touch when you get back. Y'all communicate, she called, you call, whatever. So if I ever wanted to go anywhere, when I was overseas, I can catch a flight to somewhere and go see them. if I wanted to. Whenever I wanted to go to Korea, I could go to Korea, no problem. You know, if I want to go to Australia, I can go to Australia, Hawaii, all that shit. Thailand. So you go over there and meet a chick and y'all hope to communicate. And then you stay together long enough. And she's like, what next? Okay, I'm going to tell you the A, B, and C to it. A, if you choose to carry on the conversation long enough, I'm talking about weeks and weeks and weeks, you're going to start catching feelings because these foreign women over here, they take care of you like you kings. That's why you see a lot of military service members coming back over here with foreign wives because they do things that they probably won't get over here from the mass majority, period. Now, somebody might frown upon them and say, you know, are they unattractive? Why you bring internal to your house is what the guy should be worried about. Your girl doing that for you is what you should be worried about, period. That is it. B is y'all have plans. Y'all been talking. You have plans and everything. You're still trying to test out. You don't know. And you got a deployment coming up, but you may not know if, you know, she'll be here when you get back. It's a lot of decisions that you have to make. Like, A, you know, you're talking and everything seems like it's going to be good, but you really don't know what that decision is. B, you kind of have the indication that I don't know if I should marry a foreigner or not, but we have a different type of vibe and relationship and energy that I'm looking for in a wife. You know, it seems good. That's how the shit goes with the foreigners, right? And then you say, I wonder, can I make this work? And then you start asking people around you. Like you asked another Marine, right? Hey, I met this girl in Korea. And I'm thinking about, you know, have her come over for a little bit, you know, just see how she is. They say, don't fucking do that, you idiot. All they want to do is go back to the States and get married. They don't love you. Listen, that isn't the truth, man. For all of them, okay? That's not the truth. But we've heard it so many times, man. It's just hilarious to hear. So you kind of get to a point like, maybe I should see how she acts when she come over here. So check this out. On these bases, right, it's a place where you can go spend like a good week. You can take leave as a Marine. You can take leave and you can plan to have your girl come over here and y'all can just stay in what's considered a hostess house, like for a week. You can pay the money, very cheap. It's like $25, $30 a day. You get a refrigerator, you get a nice bed, all that, man. Man, you have no idea. I'm like, damn. So you have your girl come over here and see what it's all about. And then you got C. C is you got to make sure that she's not trying to just get you for a green card. Because let me tell you a true story that changed Okinawa, Japan forever. And once again, I'm speaking because I was there. And if I have Filipino Facebook friends, if you get mad, it's you. You get mad. But I can talk on it because I know. I was over in the Philippines. I was overseas. I know what roads I travel. I know my stomping grounds. But anyway, when it comes down to service members coming over here with green cards to the States with a foreign wife, that foreign wife can be Filipino, Korean, Japanese, all that. Before, when I was over there, you can get married to a foreigner, just say a Filipino, and you can get your green card before you can go to the States. She got her green card. She has her green card before you all take off to the States, man. Gone. She's happy that her mother. Now she has her entry into the United States. She has her entry into the United States. What a feeling it's been for them to be able to cross over like that and gain entry into the United States as legal as it gets. This way it went all wrong. Shout out to the Filipino nation. When I visited the Philippines, I did find some very attractive women over there at certain points. It was a nice place, but not some place I want to stay over there for a long period of time, right? But the Filipinos had such a hustle. Man, the Filipinos, they was had such a hustle. In all the houses that, the servicemen was going to have entertainment, we might call them strip clubs over here. You know what I'm saying? So over there in Asia, most of them was filled with Filipinos because they was the most closest and most attractive, unless you have some mainline Japanese girls, right? And I haven't even got to what's gonna blow your mind. I haven't even got to it yet. Just stand by. This is gonna get juicy. This is gonna get juicy. So you take the Filipinos, right? And you notice what I told you, that you married one of them, you married the family, right? So the Filipinos was coming over to Japan and finding work. You know how I said that, okay, well, they get each other jobs in the PX and everything like that. But see, that didn't happen unless you was married to a service member. Then you have priority as a spouse to put in an application. Most of the time you put in an application, it's another Filipino that's already working there. And the whole network starts to trickle down. So they say, oh, you married to so-and-so? Oh, okay, cool. And boom, we put you ahead of the line, this and that. When can you start working? So that Filipino starts working. Now, this is still overseas I'm talking about. So they work, they make the money, they provide for the family. Then sooner or later, whoever's married to them, not me, they get the call, say, hey, my auntie wants to come over. My brother wants to come over. I'm talking about this because I know. I mean, because there's several people I know that went through this. My niece wants to come over. My nephew wants to come over. So they may have a base housing with maybe about 6 or 7 Filipinos in it. That is outside of the American that married the one Filipino. All right. So then it gets time to leave. The wife has to complete the paperwork along with the husband. The husband's a military service member. His ID card is golden. But the Filipino, she has to go in there and fill out the paperwork. Now, the Filipinos, the good thing I like about their network and the way they have this whole system is that they're not worrying about their daughter leaving. They're not worried about it because where she's going, check this out. Where she's going, there's Filipinos on the distant end. There's Filipinos over there already knowing. They're on a phone call. So-and-so's going to be coming over there. Just wait. Just wait. They have the most unique network when it comes to the military. So she's filling out the paperwork. The service member don't know all this. He finds out once he ends up in the States. So this what was popping, right? Some of these guys that was in grunt units, man, deploy all the time. They were saying, you know what? They might. One thing about Filipino, most of them when they get with you popping out a kid. You popping out a kid, guaranteed. So you pop out a kid. Now you obligated. That's your wife. Boom, boom, boom. You fill out the paperwork. You get ready to PCS out of there. Once again, their family say, "Oh," they get a hugs and everything. See you. Look, they already made phone calls to where y'all going. It don't matter where you going. This family has been dealing with military longer than you can imagine. So you get to the States. She has her green card. Now, at this point in time, another mission comes into play. It's all about if she chooses to stay with the family or not. Like, not all Filipinos do this. All right. Some, I'm gonna be clear. So I'm speaking of the ones that don't. And this is what changed the law. So the Filipinos going to the States, cuts down, and They get a house. They might move in an apartment per se. You know what I'm saying? Just to get it quick and efficient. These Filipinos would disappear. Did you hear what I said? These Filipinos would disappear. They would disappear because they have their green card and they're in the States. They would disappear because they already have a mode of work over in the States. The Marine is just going to be someone who's in the way. So they get to the States, they bounce, disappear, poof, David Copperfield. They give the husband a call. He's like, babe, where are you? You know, I mean, I've been calling you all the time. He might be on deployment, right? We okay. No, I mean, where are you? Are you still at the house or whatever? No, we're not at the house no more. We're over here, so-and-so. They really don't give an address, right? Where's the kid? It's with me. So before you know it, you're getting a call at your command that your wife of only, just give or take how long you was able to be married in the spot while you was overseas before you left. So give or take, you only been married 7 months. All right, 7 months. Because you got to start putting in the paperwork and everything, right? You get there, she leaves you, she got her permanent green card, nothing the military can do. You can't restrict it because it's done went through the consulate and got approved. You go there, she's done, poof, she's with family. Just like I told you on the other end, they was making phone calls before. So therefore, gone. Nothing he can do. He got played. Now she's getting child support. This Filipino is getting child support. That's absolutely a buck. They call the unit. I want a divorce. They hurry up and get a divorce because they haven't, been married that long, and child support start to pop the cash register. For Marines, for service members, it comes automatically out of our check. Automatic, y'all. Warn your kids. It's up to me to give you that. Warn your kids. Warn them. There's no need to get married in your first tour of the military unless you totally understand that you got a support system that's going to be there for you when you start to drown. Understand what I'm telling you. So we have so many Filipinos that's doing this. Boom, 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 boom. So they changed it that you're no longer going to the States with your green card. You have to be married for 5 years unless they've changed that rule. You have to go to the States with a temporary, be married to 5 years before you can apply for your green card. But peep this. When you was overseas the first time and you married a Filipino and you left, you already had your green card. It was solid. Like I'm talking about all the waiting period, expedited. That green card shit came back quick, or else you didn't get a plane ticket. So once the green card came back, plane tickets, boom, you gone. You and your family. Gone. Gone. You want to know something else? You remember me telling you about some of the females that has kid already? And then they meet a military service member and get a kid by them too? Well, that other service member, the reason why she's back over there was simply this. Some of them went over to the States with the dang green card and came back over to the Philippines to go for round 2. They end up meeting another service member and going through the same exact thing again, man. Because you think about it, they get 18 months of child support. It was the biggest hustle that you think the ghetto, the gutter, the hood. You talking about Section 8, subsidized housing. You think this shit that goes on over here, it's wide open. But in the military, it's consolidated. It's more effective because what they get, what they ask for, they're going to get. Oh, they are going to get it. So they told them no longer you get a permanent green card. You have to go over there and stay married for 5 years. And after that 60-month period, you must then apply for your green card, which take another what? It could be taking 2 to 3 years, man. You know what I'm saying? They changed that law. It was a wicked situation. A lot of Marines lost, seriously. A lot of Marines lost their mental stability. They lost their way in the Marine Corps because they thought they had a woman. You know, you're talking about a lot of young guys who's coming straight out of the household of their parents and didn't know shit about dating. They go overseas and they're told they're over there for a year. And those service members that's tuned in, you know what I'm talking about. You go on there for a year. Within that year, you meet a Japanese chick. You meet a Japanese chick, a Filipino chick, or whatever. It's a melting pool. Sometimes you got some Australians that's over there too. It's a melting pool. You start dating. She's doing stuff for you that you didn't even see your mom do for your dad. Seriously. They literally cater to their man over there. They literally will be there for you, give you everything that you can ask for. So for an American man, they're like, man, I love this girl, but it's just a little bit too quick for me to even thinking about getting married. You know, someone will ask that question, like, it's too short of a time period for me to even consider this. And listen, I'm gonna be honest. I know there's a lot of Black Marines I know personally that was basically in this situation, y'all, from the South. And they say, I'm gonna call my mom and dad. I'm gonna tell them, hey, I want to take leave so I could bring home so and so, because it was some way somehow they could do that. If I forgot how it was, it's some temporary. They can go on leave to the States or whatever. So they talk about, introducing this female to their parents and everything. And it just didn't fly well like that. Like, seriously. I remember my dad telling me, real talk. I'm not going to repeat the exact words he said. He said, don't come back up in here with no. And that's what I'm saying. I said to myself, you can't tell me what to do. I'm grown. I'm out. Anyway, I made him say what he was going to say. But I was like, man, you can't tell me who to date. You know what I'm saying? But it's just all bad. Salute him, Greg. Salute. It's just all bad when it comes to young Marines, man, on how you might find them with 3 or 4 marriages, right? You might find them with kids that don't have a relationship with them. Because the way we was raised up in the military, our mission is first. And if you don't do the mission, you're not getting promoted. And you might get some repercussions behind it. If they saying they moving out to anywhere, and you're talking about, no, I want to stay home and chill with my girl, you in trouble. It's no Muhammad Ali. You're not doing that this day and time. You're not doing it. Now, of course, they banned him from boxing and he wouldn't go to war and all that. But listen, you'll be in jail. Seriously, you'll be in jail. When it's time for you to go on a move, on deployment, you're going. You could just have a newborn. Seriously, man, I'm telling you, they don't care. You sign up and you're obligated to the suit, the boots, the uniform, serving under the nation's umbrella, national colors. And that's what it's about, people. It's a hard knock life. So when I hear people just sit up here and criticize and think, military members, they all want to think of combat only. Like, we don't go to combat every year, but it is some military members that have went to combat and their lives has changed. But you shouldn't even consider excoriating them for it, right? But anyway, back to these young Marines and young service members. Only thing I would ask for you all to do is just make sure you tell them, like, especially if you have a daughter. If a daughter in the barracks, it's gonna be potentially 10 to 1, male to female in the barracks, according to what duty station you at. It's only a matter of time. If your daughter went there virgin, if she has a very strong, I mean, I'm talking about super strong resistance, courage, if she has a mindset of patience, resilience, she will survive. But the pressure that is put on in the barracks to go out to the clubs, to have parties, to drink, to do all that shit, it's tough. And a lot of people who daughters left to go into the military is probably pregnant the first year and a half. That's fact. Let me tell y'all something that's real life. I wish I can counsel these young service members, as they're on their first year, whether they listen or not. But let me tell you some facts of real life. As an officer, right, I was set to have a meeting and do a head count before we push out on deployment, right? So I'm walking down to the company, and I just have some questions because I'm missing a lot of heads. I'm missing like 15. And I'm wondering why they're not going to Iraq. You feel me? I've been in the Corps long enough to know who I'm about to walk in there with. I've been in there long enough to know that it's females I'm about to deal with. Because this is the unspoken rule. If you ain't never heard it before me, you're about to hear it right now. And it's absolutely true. Anybody in the military want to dispute it, you can do what you want. It's okay. I don't care. But I know it's true. So I'm walking over to this office. I walk in the office, and they already know I wanted to see everyone that was on the list that wasn't deploying, because you had to have a valid reason why you weren't stepping off to the dirt, right? People, look at my eyes when I tell you this. And when I was definitely a hard charger. I believe when it's your time to go on deployment, it's time to freaking go. At a certain point in time, as many times I left my family, I was like, let's go. I heard the story before. Let's go. I walked in this office. It had to be maybe 13. There's probably like 13 or 14 females sitting in there. Listen, it was only one male in there, and he was hurt. He was hurt. He couldn't go. He was going to catch the next wave because he was pissed. He said, I wanted to go, but I have to go back to the doctor and see if my injury is healing up. Now, all these other females is in there, right? And they're looking at me, and they know it can go one or two ways. They already know who I am. A lot of them do. I mean, they're hoping I'm being nice. So I look around the room, and I say, 1, 2, 3. So I start counting. And I'm counting with my finger to be a little bit more sarcastic. I'm like, shit. So I go to the first one, and I know my name. I say, hey, so-and-so, what's up? Sir, I apologize. And one thing I disliked about females who apologize for being pregnant. Like, why are you apologizing for being pregnant? As young as you are, you don't know what protection is, but that wasn't even half. I apologize for being pregnant. So my answer, my question to her is, how far along are you? This will I always love to hear. Oh, I don't know. I just know I'm pregnant. Okay, what pregnancy does for a female is it prevents them. It takes them away from deployment. Not only that, people, imagine this. Imagine this if you're a female. You get taken out of deployment. Just say you go into deployment in 98. You're off that deployment. You're off the first wave, the second wave. When you have your kid, hey, it's a 9-month gestation, right? So you have your baby. Don't they know? Didn't you know they made it that female Marines is off the first half of the deployment, and then in the second year come around for them to, if there's an deployment again, and the first year of the baby's life, they're non-deployable. That's 2 freaking years that these females is undeployable. You know what that does to a unit? It really causes us to be short in a lot of important areas. So I asked how long. They always used to tell you, I don't know. Okay. All right, cool. What about you? I think I'm this amount, this, that, but I know I'm pregnant for sure. I said, okay, all right. I ask all of them the same question. Damn, they get the same thing. I don't know how long I'm pregnant, but I know I'm pregnant. How long I'm pregnant, but I know I'm pregnant. All right. So me, I mean, I can be. I'm a very patient person when it comes to, things like this, because I felt a lot of it was getting over. You know why I did? Because none of them was married. None of them. So I go back in the, I go scrounging around, man. I'm going treasure hunting right now because I need to find the dads. So I stand them up and I give them a piece of paper and I say, I want you to write the name and the rank of the dad. That's what I want to know. And then they face look around. What? You want the dad? Yeah, you got damn right. I want to know who the father is, the about to be father. I want to know who he is. And people, when I tell you, it's just sad. It's a sad part of the Marine Corps. It is. It's sad. It's really sad. Because when you start getting these names, right? Some of these individuals were in the same unit. Some of these individuals was asked by these girls to be put in that situation so they wouldn't deploy because they were scared. With the agreement from the girl that they wouldn't put them on no child support, no obligation, no nothing. So you just excluded the father out your kid's life forever? You basically told this cat, yeah, I'll go ahead and do it for you. I'm going to ask you for nothing. I won't ask for child support. I'll take care of it on my own. Just so they wouldn't go on deployment. People, I ain't lying. I'm not lying. I'm not lying to you. It's a freaking a pool. If you want to talk about a pool of freaking misery that you'll ever see, seeing these females go through certain things like that. And then, a couple of names I had of individuals that was too high a rank to be even associating with these girls. So now I have another situation. I'm like, I have to go ahead and talk to the Marine that's on this sheet, given to me by her, and it's fraternization. Fraternization definitely warrants a punishment. But then I'm looking at, if I punish them, I'm going to fragment, if they have a family, I'm going to fragment everything about it. I'm going to take rank off. I'm going to take food off the table because he's getting in trouble. I'm taking food off the table and everything. It's going to be difficult. I remember when what it was for me to come up with my sons. Like, it's difficult. So therefore, I go ahead and talk to one of the guys who's a staff NCO. And I say, can I holler at you for a second? Yes, sir. What's going on, sir? What brings you this way? I say, listen, I'm gonna cut through the chase, man. I just talked to so and so. Is that your baby she got? Hell no, sir. I say, real talk. Is it your baby or not? Because when it gets time for her to have it, and you make all this big deal, it's not your baby, and it is, it's gonna be worse. He said, it's possible, sir. I say, listen up. You know you're not supposed to be fraternizing the unit, right? How are you gonna make this right, man? She's gonna have to get out in order for y'all not to get in trouble, because you can't be walking around here dating somebody in the same unit. Like, that's gonna get around very quick. And then in the service period, if you end up picking up Gunny and she's still a Lance Corporal or whatever the case, that's just wrong. It doesn't work that way, and you know it. So we're trying to work things out. I say, bro, why did you get her pregnant, man? No, why did you get her pregnant? If you knew she had a whole career in front of her, why would you go there and mess around with the truth? That's fraternizing, period. So I did everything I possibly can to kind of see how he can make that better. Because like I said, if I would have took this staff sergeant to the carpet, that baby would have suffered too. She would have suffered. He would have suffered, because both of them was in the wrong. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. So I got them go around to this sergeant, right? And I ask him, I say, hey, that's your kid over there? You know, I used to ask these cats like the kid was walking, you know, just to provide some humor. I say, that's your kid over there in the front office? Huh? I don't have no kids, sir. I said, so PFC so-and-so says she's pregnant. And then, you know, the eyes get big, the mouth drop, and they're like, oh shit. Is that your kid or not? Y'all been kicking or what? What's good? What's good? Talk to me. Y'all been together? What? Yes, on and off, this and that. Nothing serious. I say, she's talking about she's pregnant though. I say, but he said, but sir, she's been screwing everybody else too. I say, but how often, what's your percentage that it's gonna come out yours or somebody else? He said, I'm pretty clear. It's gonna come out somebody else's. So I say, okay, I'm gonna hold you to that, right? I say, anything else you need to tell me. And this dude say he's married, right? I say, that's why you're not claiming it. Boy, you in trouble. You in trouble. So you know you have a situation like that, and so on. I'm not gonna keep going down the list, but that's what you got to go on. You can have that many females missing in the deployment, and they're pregnant, and a lot of them just did it just so they wouldn't have to go. Don't have no ties with the father. It's bad. And then if you around long enough, you get to see these women have the babies. They just walking around like the same thing they see out here in the streets. They just got uniforms on. That's real talk. Like you see baby mamas out here all the time in the streets. They talk about how the fathers are missing. Shit, they got that in the military too. They got it in the military too, y'all. It's just you're working for the federal government and you're getting paid first in the 15, and that's what it is. Don Dada say, boy, you're in trouble, real talk. What you mean by that, Don Dada? What you mean I'm in trouble? You talking about the guy who I was talking about, or you talking about the topic I was talking about? Enlighten me with specifics. Look, what I'm telling you all is what I experienced while I was in. And that's not saying anything to be biased towards any gender or whatever, because the dudes messed up just as the females did. But sometimes on a lot of deployments, even when we be on deployments, you know, I had to sit up here and have a female come to me and say I have to leave deployment early because my stomach hurt. because I'm like, everybody has those type of health and comfort issues monthly. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah. We know females have menstrual cycles every month, right? So that'll be their thing. Oh, I got to go back. I got to go back. So now, once again, in the core, you have to make sure this female is telling the whole truth. You know what I'm saying? You have to make sure she's not getting out of a deployment, because they will scheme like that. And then people try to say, oh, you're leaning heavy. You on her shoulders, get off her back. She's just a female. No, not in the Marine Corps, you ain't. Because in the Marine Corps, we roll as a team. We roll as a unit. We're a band of brothers and sisters. Not every female is characterizing what I'm talking about, but I'm saying it's been plenty of times we went deep in the rut, out in the field, deep, dirty, funky. It's some females that stayed in the fight, and there's certain females that love to sit up here and put on a psychosomatic scene and claim that they are just out of it. They can't mentally focus. So the vehicle has to take these people back, and now we are short of personnel in certain positions, especially when it comes to communication, tactics, whatever we're doing. So you take them back to the barracks. You get back to the barracks there, people. And of course we send in a runner. Of course we send them recon out for them. We're not going to let them go back to the barracks without sending a recon. We just let them get situated in a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just let them get cool, comfortable, roll the vehicle back out to the site. And then we go back to the recon. See what's popping when the sun drop. You know what I'm saying? Once again, some of these females is out at the club. Some of these females is, chilling in there with their boyfriend. I'm telling you, no. Hell no. It's tough for guys to leave. Like, if a guy's going to leave deployment and we out in the field, they got to have a serious problem. Seriously. The only way we're going to be able to leave a site is like what happened to us in Korea. The Koreans was signing off, putting up their time. They were signing off on Porta-Johns. Listen, the Porta-Johns was overrunning with shit. It was nowhere to go. We was on the airstrip. These Porta-Johns on the port and starboard side was filled with fuming, running over shit in there. And they was checking the box out, talking that they was draining them, right? So half of the unit got sick. Half of the unit caught this virus from going in there, taking a piss with all this shit that's running down. I'm telling you, man, this stuff that's going on here, man, I'm telling you, we done been in way worse situations. So we get sick. I mean, people throwing up. And then it takes up here like you can't even focus. You got to lay on the ground. So you had people dropping, as we call it. We had people dropping. And then they had to put us back in the barracks. We had to load up the Humvees, start shipping people back to the barracks, getting fluids in them. Took them back to medical, get an IV in us. And then we were sick for like close to a week. Seriously, we were sick for close to a week. That's the only way we get to leave the damn field. But it's been too many times when it comes to a female, just say we out on patrol. And the guys always have to carry the heavy weapons, right? I love carrying the heavy weapons. I just posted a pic of the 50 that I was carrying. Not only did I carry the 50, but I love carrying the tripod too. Like, if you carry the tripod and the weapon itself, it's just, for me, I was like, I didn't want to be a grunt or a recon man, but I knew I could. So I always want to carry the heavy equipment, go out there, hump the heels with it just to see if I could do it. And my knees are pretty decent. But anyway, when it came to switching over equipment to the females that was in the freaking squad, like, you had people humping these freaking guns, humping this equipment, these radios, humping ammo cans. All of us played a part. Not everybody that can carry the heavy guns, the heavy artillery, but most of them can carry the radio and all like that. But that radio was freaking heavy to some people. You give a female the radio, and she don't even carry the distance that she's supposed to carry before she tries to dump it back off. So according to who you with and who your squad leader is, they're gonna say, no, you gotta suck that shit up. You have to suck it up. You barely even had it. 10 minutes. My legs. And we went through this all the freaking time when females say they want to be in combat with the males. That was always the issue. It was always the issue. It's just amazing. But so one time we was going this steep ass hill, man, and we're telling the female with the radio, crawl, because we was crawling to get up this hill. We was grabbing on tree roots. We was pulling anything and everything so we wouldn't slide back down that hill. That shit was like the end of the earth. We up here crawling up this goddamn hill, and sure enough, all we hear is some tumbling. Old girl fell down the hill with the radio. So there's no way you're leaving without comm. So we had to go back down there and get her. And when you got weapons, you can only put the weapon off with somebody else. You can't just leave the weapon right there in the wooded area and go somewhere and then come back and get it. You can't do that. So if you're the squad leader, you have to hand off your weapon to somebody else and go down there and get the fallen Marine, and then take the radio, hump it back up the hill, make sure she makes it back up the hill, and keep it moving to the slot. To guarantee you, she's gonna get that radio again. That's just how it was, people. She's gonna get the radio again. She may not have got it when she got to the top of that hill or whatever, but we're supposed to be an equal force, an equal fighting force. We only as strong as our weakest link. So we had to get to a point where we had to force the women that were weak, in a sense. We had to build them up. We had to carry them with the team. You know what I'm saying? To make it to the finish line. It's not as easy as saying, you know what, fuck you, go on. No. She's wearing a uniform. I'm wearing a uniform. We have to make it to the finish line together. M. Greg say fraternization. You know it. How would you rate military readiness today? Now, the readiness for combat, of course, is much improved because we have much more advanced technology. All right. When we're talking about readiness as a unit, as a military, you know what I'm saying? Whether it be the military, the Army, Navy, National Guard. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. But this is what I probably have a little issue with, is that we may have too many military service members that's more concerned about social media and more on their phone. You might have individuals or commanders that disallowing service members to bring phones. You know what I'm saying? In certain things, because hey, you can't be walking you can't be on a march and pulling out your phone, and on your phone you can't do that. Like, you got to have that in your cargo pocket the whole entire time, or they're going to tell you to leave it at home. You don't need no phones. So that's the only thing I'm thinking about. It may be a little bit of social distancing in the military today as a unit, because you have so much social media. You know what I'm saying? So instead of us getting out doing some activities that consist of military servicemen just bonding as a freaking group, as a unit, you might find a little bit more in-house if they don't have a strong leader. Me, I would say, hey, we got PT. Don't bring your phones with you. And then I'm pretty sure everybody would be like, well, I got a newborn. I got a call. Okay, if you got to bring your phone with you, we're going to put them right here. Because I'm gonna tell you, you have service members that sit up here and be on their phone and not paying attention. But my whole point was to speak with you all who potentially may have future sons or daughters going into the military. And it's very important that you listen, because a baby is way more important than just a random decision where that baby may find out that their father ain't in the picture, their mother not in the picture. And why is that? The kid is only 3 or 4 years old. Why is it? And there's a lot of crazy reasons that you'll find out. Look, you're gonna find a lot of people in the military too that's married to someone with the kid already. Yeah, it's easy. You'll find someone that's already married. You'll find somebody that take on someone who has 2 kids that was in a short-term marriage. It didn't work out. And she's still healthy enough to date someone else because she either went through extreme amount of, discomfort, irreconcilable differences, misery, arguments, and all that. It might have been that case. You will find people in there with somebody else's kids that may be still active. I'm trying to give y'all the roots, man. These are the roots. These roots are deep in the military. Like you may have somebody that marries somebody and she have 2 kids by another military serviceman that's still active duty, and he may be married too. That's absolutely real, man. And you have to deal with this dude. You have to deal with them potentially being stationed on the same duty station because they want to stay close enough so he can see his kids. Yes. He want to be close enough so he can see his kids. If not, so be it. But if they have a cordial relationship enough for the kids, you might in fact see the father of her kids on the same base, or may even a unit over from you. You may see this dude every day, and you married his ex-wife. You married the mother of his kids. But the one thing about doing it out here in civilian pop, you may never see him. But in the military, you stay in long enough, hell yeah. Hell yeah. You might see him. It'd be good, it'll be bad. And you want to know another thing that's just outright disheartening is that sometime you may be in that same situation and end up being in the same unit as that particular dude that you married to his ex-wife or married to his baby's mother. Because not all the Marines get married. They might have a kid together, but not all of them get married now. So you might be in a unit with the same dude that's now married to your baby's mother. Can you imagine serving on the duty station for 2 to 3 years with somebody who is the father of the kid? Your wife right now, the father is working in the same unit as you. It's deep. That shit is deep. Man, I can go on and on with scenarios about that. I just hope these little young adults get it together. And like I said before, I told this particular individual, I say she'll be married within a year, man, because that's what happens to females when they get in the barracks. It's peer pressure. It's easy. If you're attractive, it's even worse. And some you got some got the strong enough parent support system and everything. They keep it cool. They walk up out of there, no babies, keep their relationship at a minimum, whatever the case. But some, they just go over there and before you know it, they popping out a kid. And then they talking about, oh, well, we're not going to be living in the barracks because a female can't live in the barracks pregnant. A female cannot live in the barracks pregnant. You have to get housing. You can't live in. So you got 9 months to raise your baby, and hopefully, the father or whatever is going to help you out. So you got to start making arrangements with the base and everything to get that taken care of. So that's where the money and everything taken care of. So another branch for you, another branch, right? Is that if the guy, this will happen in the Marine Corps exactly. A guy, if he's been known to date this girl and she's pregnant by him, right? They will force him to start supporting her with money for that child. If indeed it pans out that he cannot deny, yeah, that's my kid. They will force that dude to start freaking supporting that kid early. You hear me? You don't hear me. Early, y'all. They don't play. By the time she had that baby and they regulate, they do the test and everything, child support, that young Marine will never see that money. Never see that money. For 18 freaking years, if he stays in the military. I'm gonna give you another branch. Just so you can warn your kids. I just want them to be happy. I want when you see your kids come home in the military, I want y'all to be elated to see one another. Not say, hey, I gotta talk to you. I gotta holler at you. How long you gonna be in there with your mom? Okay, hurry up and come back out here. We got some things to talk about. Check this out. I already told you about, when it get to a point when she had the kid, and they force him to go over there and have child support garnished from his check, right? But this is the kicker, y'all. This is the kicker. This is the ultimate kicker. Every single time he gets promoted to another rank or get a pay raise, that baby gets a pay raise. The baby gets a pay raise, y'all. Every little inch. If he sneezes, he got promoted. Pay raise. That baby's child support will go up every single time that individual gets promoted. Same go for the female. If the male is a primary custodian and she's paying child support, which is very rare, same thing happens. This dude get promoted, check will reflect in the system. He would never see it. He'd just say, okay, this amount was taken out. You got promoted to E4. This amount of money was taken out. It used to be $850 for child support. Now it's going to be up to $950 or whatever. Every time he get promoted, that baby gets a pay raise. That's why a lot of females in the military love going up there and picking up a kid with a military person. I ain't gonna lie. They get mad. They get mad at what I'm saying. It's the truth. I'm not saying all of them, of course. I'm just saying a lot of them have taken that course. I've seen it. I'm not creating this. I was in for 20 years. I've seen it. I know women who has been in a relationship, has settled down just a bit, and then you go through the family tree. Well, these two kids were from so and so, and then this kid was from him. But I'm currently married to him, and we have one kid. So she had 3 babies' mothers. You know what I'm saying? I mean, fathers. He had 3 babies' fathers. And now she's currently with somebody that's going to work, so to speak. She's been with him the longest period of time. But all those kids have 2 fathers out there and one that's in the house. So guess who's taking care most of the time with that? He is. Some of them request child support. Some of them don't. It's unfreaking believable. I just want your kids to be, you know what I'm saying? I just want your kids to be stable enough not to be out here broke their first their first 4 to 8 years in the military, be broke, especially the guys. Just be patient, man. And whatever you do, please do me a favor. Please tell them to refrain from marrying another military personnel. Please refrain from that. I'm gonna tell you, if he goes in there and marry a female that's military and they have problems, it's always gonna affect him getting promoted. It's always gonna affect her get promoted. Always. Anything that they have going on in the house that bleeds over into the outside, it's gonna be a factor in their job, especially if it deals with arguing, it deals with money, it deals with anything. If anything you can do, marry a civilian. Because look, this is another reason I'm saying that. At one point in time, both of you all may have to deploy at the same time. Who's going to keep the kids? Who's going to keep the kids? Y'all might have to be obligated in certain positions according to what rank you're picking up. Who's going to keep your kids? Who's going to be there? Both parents gone, and your kid's going to have to stay with somebody else. It's just something for everyone to think about. It is an important issue with these young people going into the military, getting divorced early, and then potentially having 2 marriages down the drain by their 10th year in the Marine Corps. You know what I'm saying? And I'm only speaking from the Marine Corps because I know it's still going on, man. I know that shit is still going on. People get married too young. They go out there and get in debt trying to furnish the house. Look, I told you about the house. I didn't even get to the car yet. Because you got all these young Marines with good credit, with no credit, and these car dealerships are salivating for them to walk up there. They say, "What's your rank? E3, E4. Oh, we can put you on a nice one. We can put you on a nice one. First time buyers. We know that you're trying to get your credit established." Of course they will. Of course. And they hit them with the cars. If you can buy your kid a car and he's going to a duty station over here in the States, do that. Don't wait till they get to the duty station to purchase a vehicle around there, because those prices cater to the military service members that's on the base. And they're not the prices you're going to get here away from base. Now, you hear people say all the time that, you can get military discount. You can get military discount. In some cases, you can. But look, if they was giving military discounts to every freaking military serviceman that came up to their car lot, the car lot wouldn't be there. So it's a reason why they would put the sign up here. Best rates for military. Best rates. And you know what they're going to tell you? Remember, I told you, I'm giving you nuggets. They're going to say, oh, it's reduced prices. It's reduced prices. It's reduced prices. Already. For the military, it's reduced prices. The best thing you can tell them to do when going to get a car around a military base, get the price of the car first without telling them you're in the military. If you go off base and you go into these car lots, go ask for the price before you tell them you're in the military. If the price is $15,000, then you pull out the ID card and say, "Excuse me, I forgot. You have military discount?" "Oh, for sure. So they already gave you $15,000. We know this." So when he comes back with all the paperwork, if that deduction doesn't start at $15,000, you know they're full of shit. If the deduction starts at $15,000 and they say, "Oh, we took $2,000 off for this right here and that," add taxes, it's going to bring it up a little bit back up close to $15,000, and just say, "Well, it'll be $13,800. You know what I'm saying? Now that's kind of that's with taxes and everything. That's not bad. You got some money off. You got over $1,000 off. Think of that, man. Because I'm seeing too many of my comrades, man, go up here to these payday loan. The payday loan is 70% interest, and they never pay it off. And then if the Marine default on the loan, back in the day, they was calling the military and having their pay garnished. And they'll never freaking see a paycheck again. They was getting what is called November Delta. I mean, November Papa Delta, no pay dues, NPDs. And they put a stop on it. But not until a lot of freaking service members suffered. They lost homes, they lost cars, all that shit. You know why? Because the Marine Corps was so impulsive to act on certain things back then that they really should have looked at the shop. So when they looked at the actual bank or the loaning company and read the paper, back then it was like, okay, you signed the contract, you got to pay. To the point now, they ban them from going to these places. They ban them. You are not allowed to go to these places. These payday loan, when we supposed to be getting paid on the 15th, but these people go over here and get an early payday loan on the 11th because they broke. Hey man, I ain't gonna lie, back then we were broke. Before you pick up E5, E6, you broke. You super duper broke. So you go up there to these payday loans and you sign the paper, all you want is the money. That's all you want. So you get your money, you go have a little fun, get some drink. And then when it comes back to paying them, they usually give you what, 3 months, I think. You think you can pay it off in 3 months because you're getting paid again. But you got bills to pay on the next payday. So you if you're good, you go up here and don't spend most of your money. Go pay them half of what you owe. And then you have to understand, the longer you let it go, the higher the interest rate, and you tacking on that interest. So if you let it go all the way to the first, you done tacked on some more money. Oh, it was a highway robbery, y'all. Oh my God. It was a highway freaking robbery. It was a highway robbery. But, you know, readiness today in the military as far as combat, we good. We good. But, you know, as far as us going to combat as a unit with the individuals I roll with to the ones that's in there now, I don't know, man. It's a lot of things done changed in the military, and you already know what that is. It's a lot of things done changed, and when you're in the heat of combat, you need somebody that's going to defend your six, a person that's going to have your back, a person that's willing to die, a person willing to sacrifice their life for you. That's how you got to go through life, period. When you're in the military, you got to support your brother and sister, no matter who it is. If you're in combat, every one of you is the link, the chain. Every one of them. You can't have no weak links in the chain. Everyone's mindset has to be on tap to follow orders, so we can go out for the mission, complete it, and come back safe. Anything short of that is a failure. We just don't lose men and say, oh, we lost so and so. No, man, that shit hurt. Just warn your kids, man, about that. Just warn them, keep them satisfied, patient. You know what I'm saying? Just keep them aware, educate them. It's not a lot of kids educated, because a lot of them just want to leave the house and get out on their own, man. And y'all kids can't be thinking like that. You can get out on your own. That's cool. You're going into the military. Kudos to you. You complete boot camp. Kudos. Congrats to you. Salute. Real talk. Real talk. I probably won't have no kids to go into the military. Look, you got to be cut from the cloth to go in the military, from a different cloth, especially the Marine Corps. You got to be cut from a different cloth. Ask Riddick Bowe. You know, you can sit here and talk shit all you want, but it's only a select few that can go down there for 64 training days and take that heat and take that stress. It's no joke, man. You gotta let your kids know to think about picking up rank as quick as possible. To let the foundation settle quickly for them so they can have stepping stones and they build ladders, stairways in their career. Tell them to start putting that cement together and building stairwells and keep on climbing and pick up their rank early, because that's what's going to matter. Because the quickest they pick up rank, the more decisions they can make. You don't want to be a low rank for a long time. You're not going to be able to make those decisions when you think you should, because look at it. It's a lot of, just say you're an E4. It may be an E4 that's freaking 23, 24, right? Let's say 23. And you might get the E4 that came in the Marine Corps late that may be what, 28. He's much older, less tolerant, more of a go-getter, more of a squared away Marine. He takes things serious a little bit. The 23-year-old may look at it like, man, I get it done when I get it done. The 28-year-old may say, no, I'm all about time efficiency, meeting the schedule, getting it done, being punctual, and moving on to the next. Be to work on time. We supposed to be here at 3 o'clock. What time we supposed to be here? 2:45. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be there at 3 o'clock. You be there at 2:45. Everybody understand that? Head count? Hoorah. See you tomorrow. That's what it is. That shit may not sound good. Tell them to pick up the rank as quick as they possibly can. If they can get meritorious Lance Corporal out of boot camp, tell them to do that shit. They're going to have to dig deeper than they ever did before. They're going to have to stay strong, injury-free. They're going to have to be leaders. You have to be leaders. If you got some friends that's in there with you, tell them we still friends. But if I'm the leader of the platoon, I'm the squad leader, I'm the guy, and I tell you something to do, you need to do it. You need to do it. I'm not going to get into the race thing on what I seen down there when I was a drill instructor. But goddamn it, I'll tell you this. Every time I appointed a black guide in the platoon, because you go through guides. You have guides all the time. You have so many guides because a guide has to be able to step. They have to be able to march. They have to be able to be smooth. They have to earn the respect of the platoon. They have to run your ship when you ain't there. I'll take care of the guys. I mean, it was plenty of time. My guys got Burger King, fries. Hell yeah. I had to call them in the office. I say, I appreciate what you did when I was, how you took care of the boys and everything. You got to reward them because when they go back out there, they full of energy and they ready to go. They say, shit, I just got through eat a double Whopper. The guy be out there hyped up. Guy like, shit, I need to get back out there with the pack and tell them what's the next BDR schedule. We need to be ready. And that's what you want. But I be damn. Look, when I put some brothers ex guys, right? And I always practice leadership with these cats. I say it's gonna help you out. And sometimes they couldn't let their friendship go with their mans to run a platoon. So when I kept on seeing them, they may be excluding so and so for doing this particular duty. I had to drop them, like drop them from the position. I said, I gave you the opportunity to be guide. Now I'm not doing it. So I might bring another recruit up there, run this platoon. This guy may have had different athletics behind before he came in. He may have different teach. I don't know. But every freaking guy runs the platoon differently. You know what I'm saying? All of them running different. I had a white guy who wrestled. He just had a different demeanor about him. Just a smooth type of dude. Act like he ain't worried, but he was a silent assassin. a killer. And at one point we was grappling. I mean, I've been out, so I can talk about it now. I could talk about it then. So man, we had mad respect for each other. And we used to go over grappling shit, man. This was back in the 90s. This was back in the 90s. This was back in the 90s when this shit was happening. So we was going, doing some grappling shit, right? Some remediation type stuff. And he was showing me some different things. I said, oh, I like that, always sponging it up. So a drill instructor, by a country boy somehow told this same guy to do something. And he said, yes, sir, I will get it done. But the senior told me to do something already. And what I say as a senior, it trumps everything. When you wear the black belt, it trumps everything. So he said, I will get to it, sir, but right now I have to do what the senior told me. And then the green belt should have just fell back at that time. He should just say, you know what? I got it. I'll talk to this. No, he felt that the guy was freaking dog walking him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like he was in control of shit. And that's the worst thing you can do is allow a recruit to believe he's in control of the drill instructor. We're talking about people who've been in the Marine Corps years already. You're supposed to listen to us. We don't supposed to listen to you. So he said, all right, we get done. So it came back around and the recruit hasn't got on it yet. And then he said, hey, why you haven't got on it yet? Oh, what you want done, sir, again? He said, no, why you haven't got on it? We up here talking about why you ain't on it. Give him the quarter day. So he pushed him, right? Pushing mean push-ups, crunches, pull-ups. That's what it mean push. You get on there and you push. Boom, mountain climbers and all that shit. So after the squad leader walked back to his, because the squad leader is next to the duty hut. He walked up to his freaking Foot Locker and sat down. I don't know why this drill instructor just didn't let it go. He said, you don't have an attitude, do you? Next time I tell you to do something, you might want to get it done then. He said, well, the senior had me doing something. That's why I forgot. I told you that already. And then he's like, what? I said, hold up. I came out the office and said, hold up. Man, y'all look like y'all got some animosity. Y'all hometowns are close to one another. Y'all have some animosity. Don't you know these two grapple? And man, that squad leader tapped out my drill instructor. That squad leader subbed him. Needless to say, we didn't have too good of a friendship after that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do anything, but my drill instructor just felt the need to bulk up at the wrong guy, man. And I was trying to tell him to chill. I said, man, this dude got some skills. Like he got some skills. He's slick, fast. I said, bruh, I know you country and everything, but stop giving this guy too much attention, man. If you go to the ground with him, man, it's gonna be a bad day. And he wanted to get up in his face, and I say, bruh, do you want to just grapple this cat? Because that's the only way y'all feel like y'all can get together. I mean, he did it in front of the whole platoon. I will never get subbed out. No, never. That's the worst thing you can do is get subbed out in front of the platoon. First of all, drill instructor wasn't supposed to be grappling with recruits to begin with. He got RNC'd, man. So one time before I retired, I called up. We haven't talked in a long time. He answered the phone. And I say, what's up, man? You good? Your neck good? He said, man, you know what? I already know who this was when I heard your voice and everything. I say, I know it's only a matter of time you was going to call me up and ask me about that. I say, bro, it's all in fun, man. I don't think no way about it. But you got sub in front of recruit, man. You know what it is. You know how it look. And they're going to be talking about that to this day. He said, I know. I'm good. I'm good. I say, well, congratulations on your rank, man. Continue to push forward, man. Salute to you. We was good after that. But he more so thought that he failed me in a sense that he got subbed by a recruit, but that wasn't the case. I just felt like I didn't want them going back at each other because that was my guy. The recruit was my guy. He was a really solid guy in the platoon. He kept him in order. So I was going to keep him as guide. If a senior drill instructor designate a recruit as a guide, the head of the platoon, the green belts ain't firing him. If I come on deck and my guide ain't up there, we got problems. I got problems with my green belts. I said, what my goddamn guide at? Matter of fact, who fired him? All right, let's go outside, drill instructor. You go outside and talk to your drill instructor. Say, don't fire one of my, you know the routine, right? You know the protocol? Okay, don't fire my boys no more. Period. I don't give a fuck if I'm on deck, off deck, away, whatever. Do not fire. Because when you fire, you put somebody else in charge, and then the platoon get out of hand and they lose structure. You got to keep that same guy there that's running shit. Just a little FYI. All right, Chris, go prepare that, man, for sure. Some rotisserie chicken, some smoked turkey, whatever you got. But, man, Teofimo Lopez and Vasily Lomachencko, it's been canceled. And really looking forward to that fight. There's a bit of disagreement that's going on with Vasily Lomachencko being difficult on where the fight is trying to take place. Of course, for Vasily, he's trying to have it in California, Vegas, anywhere other than NYC. He doesn't want to have it in Teofimo Lopez's backyard. You know what I'm saying? This is a franchise champion. I mean, you shouldn't worry about all that. You should be good, right? You're the Matrix, right? All I wanted to happen was the fight to take place. It's a quality lightweight fight. It's a unification bout. And it really has a lot of history behind it. Like, seriously, this fight right here will go down as one of the better lightweight fights in history. If on paper, it plays out into the ring. You're talking about a double gold standard going in here with 14 fights and 1 defeat. And then you have Teofimo Lopez with 15. He wins the IBF title, defeating Richard Comey, the former IBF champion. It's a lot of history between these guys, man. Because if Vasily Lomachenko defeats Teofimo Lopez, he unifies the division. This is the highest he's ever going to go. This is his last division in boxing. He unifies the division. But if Teofimo Lopez beats Vasily Lomachenko, guess what? He unifies the division in the first division he ever won a championship. So if Teofimo and his dad get together and say, you know what? We have the WBC. We have the WBA and the WBO, right? And the IBF. Do you want to stay around and let's face whoever the winner and has that WBC belt? I don't think it's going to be that easy for Teo, but it would be great if that was to happen. Like, if he was to fight, they still have Devin Haney there, but I'm like, Javier Fortuna and Luke Campbell are supposed to fight for the vacant WBC title. It would be beautiful, man. It'll be something nice for the boxing annals on both sides. Vasily unifies because Mauricio Suleiman say, oh, if you got the franchise belt and you get the rest, you unify. And then you have Teofimo Lopez. He's able to unify the entire vision by staying around. And if they give him the check in the box and say, yes, go over here and fight Devin Haney, that will be a big fight. So if you're telling me it's not big if Teofimo's able to go up to 140 as the former lightweight undisputed champion. That shit's huge. That shit is huge, bro. I'm telling you. That shit is huge. And if you think Teofimo is not going to do damage at 140, man, you absolutely out your mind. And you know what's wild? It's a certain group of fighters that I just can't wait to get to 140, 147. It's a changing of the guard that's going to take place in the next year and a half, y'all. Believe me, remember when I told you, it's going to be a changing of the guard, man. Especially in these lower divisions going up to like 140. You know, some people come up to 135. I'm really hoping that the Gary Russell come up to 135. I'm really hoping that we can see a Leo Santa Cruz fight Gervonta Davis or Gary Russell again, or someone that's high end, that's a top tier fighter. We want to see Shakur Stevenson make that move up. That's the dog. That's the hyena. The Wolverine they need to keep an eye out in. And then you got Joshua Grid Jr. I'm not sure if he's going to be making any moves outside of 118, but he's definitely going to be making moves towards the championship belt. So I look forward to seeing Don't Blink get himself together and step back in the square. His fight was canceled next month. Very technically sound, man, boxer in Joshua Grid Jr. So now that he's back in Chicago, man, I look forward to seeing him step back in there and get wet, light that fire. You got Josh Taylor and Josh Warren, both of the Josh Taylors and Josh Warringtons. They may have potential fights coming up, especially with Josh Warrington. And then you got Jamel Herring fighting Carl Frampton, right? I got Jamel Herring winning that. Even though, when McCreary fought Frampton, I just didn't think he stayed active enough. He's a tall fighter. I just thought he could have been a bit more busier and used his footwork better. He kind of let Carl Frampton bully him around a little bit. But I'm looking forward to that fight, Jamel Herring, Simplified Raw. I'm going for my comrade in that fight against Carl Frampton. Period. Regis Prograis and Maurice Hooker. Y'all know what it is. That's gonna be a good fight. I got to go with Maurice Hooker though, man. I have to go with Maurice Hooker. I like what Regis Prograis Rugo Ru is doing, but man, I'm like, is he gonna show us something different? That's what I want to see. Rugo Ru. Rugo Ru gonna show us something different than what he didn't present in the WBSS, the World Boxing Super Series. That's all I want to. That's all I want to know. That's all I want to see. Is he going to be able to show us something different with Maurice Hooker? But people, it's Monday morning. And what else did I put on here? I have a very nice topic tomorrow about combat sports. I'm going to talk about one of the most brutal combat sports there is in the world, period. When I was overseas, I actually was able to witness some of the earlier fights in Pride and everything, where they was able to kind of use some of these tactics, but not in a way that it was without gloves. This particular combat sport is arguably one of the most brutal combat sports in the entire globe. With anything, within the last couple of years, they have changed the grading system. Because before, the only way that you can win is that your opponent was knocked out. If your opponent isn't knocked out, it's a draw. I really don't want to give away right now on what it is, but man, it's an amazing sport to see someone go through something like that and learn how to fight like that. But yeah, well, people, it's been a pleasure as always. Salute to everyone. Follow me on all social media networks. We're gonna be on here talking about something. I'm trying to get some fighters to come over here and talk. You know, it is what it is with boxing. I never forget that I'm dealing with fighters. Fighters have moves. Fighters have different things going on. I get it, man. Hey, I'm an ex-Marine. I get it. I don't sweat a lot of shit when it comes to these fighters. I mean, they don't want to do an interview. It's all good. I get it, man. I get you got shit popping. I get it. But do me a favor, follow me on all social media platforms. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, y'all. Follow me on IG. Until next time, turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports.